Hello there! Welcome or welcome back. It's Erica once again, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. So I have here sketches of portraits that I want to work on today because this time we are going to be using alcohol markers. I want to practice alcohol markers because from what I heard, it's not about the markers, it's more about the paper. So it's how the paper will respond to the markers. So I want to test my Kent paper because for a while now, I have been using my watercolor pad for my alcohol marker practice. Now, I need a lot of work and I know that. I'm still practicing, but I'm actually so happy with the progress that I've had so far with this portrait challenge. Now, I got another sheet. This is where I will be testing. You know how I have this habit of testing the swabs or like swatches of the alcohol markers. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. Alrighty, so for her, I was thinking, I haven't worked with purples. So I was thinking of using purples and a little bit of pinks on this one. So I wanna do some sort of monochrome, but more of the purplish shade. And because I swatched these all myself, so I have an idea of what colors that I want and the ones that might work with it. So I am actually eyeing, where is that color? All right, here we go. It's this one. So I was thinking of using these here. So see, if you only have the pastel, you still need like dark shades. So it's helpful if you have the mid-tone shades or maybe the standard colors so that you'd have the darkest shades, because you do need dark shades too. Anywho, going back, I was thinking of using these colors. So pale lilac and I don't know how you pronounce it, mauve. So these three along with these two, maybe. Or do I need a blue with it? So I was thinking that along with these shades of blue. So if you will notice here, the colors are quite similar. So that should be a good range, I think. I like working with purples and blues now. I don't know if it's the age or the change, but that's the plan. So let's grab our markers now. Alright, so as I have mentioned, I am eyeing these two colors and then the V322. It's somewhere here. Here we go, this one. And these four, I think. Those are my last few ones. So this, and this. For now, we'll work with these. Alright, so these are the colors that I have so far, but something tells me I think I need to get a light shade of skin tone. And I was thinking of using the E10, which is somewhere here. E10. This is the lightest shade of skin tone that I have from the pastel set. And that would be this one. So maybe we can start with these. We'll see. I'm going to swatch them first. And we'll start. You know, they said that you always have to swatch because they turn out differently, like the colors. And I totally agree. Look, it depends on the paper. It's lighter on this paper that they gave the Ohuhu marker scent. It's lighter there compared to here. So I decided to add these two colors here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be using this still. Maybe I can just stick with RV10, RV130, and the V20, including this one, and this shade of purple, bluish purple. because I think this is too purple. And when I tested this one, it's too dark as well. So I decided for the lighter color, which is... Even the colors are so different here. Look, this is the RV10. It's a little bit more yellow on this one versus here. And the RV130 is definitely darker here on this paper versus from the Ohuhu swatch. So interesting. Now it's not double-sided, that's for sure, but it will work. So yeah, when you use acrylic markers, you gotta make sure that you swatch them first, because otherwise you really don't know what you're gonna get. Okay, let's begin. So for acrylic markers, I kind of treat it like watercolors. You know how with watercolors you start from the lightest to the darkest because it's hard for you to change the colors when it's already too dark. So the same goes. I chose this pale shade of skin tone as my first color, and I use it to create my shadows and define where my highlights are. After which, I pick out an exit color, which I want to make some sort of 3D effect, and that's the baby pink in this case. So another light tone to make sure that I don't go overboard, because alcohol markers and I are not exactly the best of friends as of the moment. I'm still in the learning process of figuring it out. So once I become friends with it, maybe I can explore it even more. Because later on, you guys will see on one of these portraits, I'm gonna make a huge mistake because I went overboard and there was no turning back. It was only a matter of trying to fix it. So here I wanted to try practicing a little bit more patience by waiting for some of the markers to dry out before layering it again on top of the other. And when I do that, that's when I touch on, let's say I move on to the hair and so on. So it kind of helps because in my experience when using it on the watercolor paper, it kind of picks up itself when you layer two different colors on top of the other without waiting for another one to dry. So that's just a theory. Again, I'm no expert with alcohol markers yet, so it's still a learning process for me. Okay. That's not bad. First, right? Alright, so we are on our second head portrait. The problem is I don't know where the reference photo is. I can't find it. So we'll figure things out. So for those of you that might be curious, I arranged this myself. They're not 100% in order from like lightest to dark or anything. I just organized them based on numbers and letters. So regardless of their colors, whether it's 100% gradient or in order from light to dark or dark to light, whatever, it didn't matter to me because I have these swatch cards. So when I look for something, I just look for them from here and then I pick them out here. So the reason why I organize them in such a way is so that when I look for the colors, it's easy for me to identify. So all the G's are here, all the E's, all the Y's, and then the YR is right beside it. So it's easier for me to locate them. Because if I arrange them in such a way that it's in chronological order, and most of the time I get like a bunch of colors at the same time, it's hard to keep rearranging them versus if they're just in some sort of numerical or alphabetical order. So that's my whole logic behind it, because Ohuhu has the weirdest namings and labels for the colors, to be honest.
So let's start with the second portrait. And I think this is the portrait where I went overboard. So this time I tried working with a darker shade instead of the one where I started with the pale skin tone in the beginning. I think you can do this because alcohol markers are kind of transparent, so you'll be able to see it. So in the beginning, I think it was working out well, especially in this part. It's still acceptable for me. But since I didn't have a reference, I was playing around with the lighting on my own. I think that's where I kind of made the mistake, because I think I should have been more precise in terms of like where the light source is. I know for a fact that it's coming from the left side, but if you will notice here, I left highlights at the back of her head as well, which was kind of wrong if the light source is coming from the left side, from the upper left. And then I started using darker shades, and then without swatching. So lesson learned, you guys have to swatch it because the colors on the cap do not match the actual colors more often than not.
Okay, I definitely went overboard with this one. I don't think it's the pastel colors that I used here. This is too dark for it. I think I should have used like a lighter shade of brown or something, but it's a good learning experience, that's for sure. At least now I know that you cannot use too much pastel with extra dark colors. So this is the perfect example of bad contrast. I mean, it still looks good, I think, nonetheless. It was saved. But look at how gentle this one is compared to this one. I feel like had I used like a better shade of brown, well then again, I have a limited palette as well. It would have looked better. But, you know, it is what it is. Let's move on to the next head.
Hey, I forgot to press record. Well, I think part of the reason why I forgot to press record is because I was a little bit frustrated with the second portrait. So I think with this one, I was a little bit more careful as well. With my choice of colors as well, I didn't go overboard because I tried to just repeat what I did for the first portrait, which I think is not good, because if you don't explore and try to learn new things, you're gonna get stuck in the same position. And with this one, I was happy with how it's turning out, but I think I was looking for a little bit more value, because the first one is good, but I think a little bit more push would have done the job in making it feel more alive, if that makes sense. But with this one, since I messed up, I didn't, for fear of messing up again, I think I became too reserved. So that's what you'll see here. It still turned out well, and I'm happy with it. And what I also realized is, while it's wet, the colors are different from once the alcohol markers are dry. So I think I was happy with the values, and then when it dried up, it was a lot lighter than I expected it to be.
This one's not good. Learning experience from this one, I think it was overused. I mean, I used harsh colors where I don't really have the right colors for it. So as you can see, these ones are much better. Alright, so we're on to our final head, and I'm gonna play around with this one. I hope I don't regret it. I feel like I'm getting the hang of the markers. It's just that I can't figure out how to get from like a combination of these two. I think I need a little bit more values, but I haven't figured out how to layer them, because as you can see here, if you overuse the markers, it kind of picks up the color behind it. I don't know if it's the paper, which is why I actually ordered the one that Ohuhu made for markers. I don't know if that'll help. I'm just curious because notice here, it didn't pick up the colors as much as when I was layering this one. I don't know if it's because I was working on it while it's still wet, because I also heard that they layer the colors so that they blend together. It doesn't dry up right away. So I don't know. I mean, it still looks great and I'm happy with how it turned out. I want more value, that's for sure. And that's what these practices are for. Okay, so for this one, I think I want to, because I've been using purple, right? So I was thinking maybe I will be playing around with the complements of green and red. So I'm going for a minty green as well as these baby pinks, but more on the fuchsia side. I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Worst case, I'm just gonna revert back to the purple or maybe this time a blue for a change. And this time, so this one, I didn't wait for the colors to dry up. I want to wait this time before like layering too much. I don't know if that's gonna turn out because old habits are hard to kill, so we'll see.
Before I started this portrait, I gave myself a few hours of break. That way I'm looking at it with fresh eyes and less frustration. I was happy with how the previous one turned out, so I didn't want to screw up this last one, that's for sure. Giving yourself a break definitely helped because I was a little bit more patient with this. So as you can see here, I'm not working as fast. This is the real time. I just sped it up because I was taking my time this time to let the ink dry a little bit. Not too dry, but dry enough to the point that it's not gonna give that feel of the two pigments fighting each other. So it's working out well so far. And this time I've been layering a little bit more with the same colors. From what I learned so far is when you layer, like when you let one, using the same color, you let one layer dry and then you put another layer on top of it, it's gonna become darker so you can create value. So here, it's a little bit wet, so I'm gonna wait for it to dry up. So I waited about 5 minutes or so. So after letting it dry, I use the exact same colors, and I just go over the same portions or certain parts of it at least. With this method, I was able to build more value with this portrait. You'll see it later. So as you can see here, it's building more value. And it looks more 3D if you would compare it to the other two that I'm happy with. It's really paying off. But this method, I think most people would think that it's a waste of ink. I honestly don't know if it is, because I don't know how much ink I'm using, to be honest. But it's definitely using less ink if I would compare it to me using my usual watercolor paper. So here I got super excited because it was working out, and I got so scared when I started using this dark shade because I thought I was going down the drain like I did for the second one. And then I started adding red, and it just didn't work out. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So I started adding blue, which kind of tied the whole image together. I realized you can still use red so long as you add a shade of blue. That way it ties up to the whole concept or the theme of the image, which is why I added it to the hair as well, which kind of tied everything together and made it look even better than I expected. So here it is. I'm super happy with this portrait. I definitely learned a lot. I hope you guys did too, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.